Hey guys, welcome back to Jurassic Collectibles. So today we're going to continue our look at the Favourite Co toy line by looking at this guy, and inside the baggie is a Favourite Co Velociraptor. So let's get started. Let's get this one out of the packaging. Always very exciting to break the dinosaurs out of their little baggies. Okay, now let's see what we got here. So we've got a little piece of paper with some Japanese lettering, and that just says that the dinosaur attaches to its base. We have found so far with a lot of these dinosaurs, they don't successfully stand on their base. So here is the Velociraptor from Favourite Co on its display base, and look at that! Fantastic, it's actually standing. This is the first one I think that we've had that successfully stood on its base with ease. And I suppose that's mainly due to the fact that it came with a plastic base that stopped its legs from warping. So I am absolutely ecstatic about that. And although I was a little bit worried about the sculpt of this dinosaur, it's really refreshing to see a Velociraptor with feathers. So let's take a closer look at this guy. Starting off with the base, you can see we've got a very nice sculpt here. Looks almost like a sandy surface. It's got lots of nice pitting going on. And I think the only thing that's lacking on this is a little bit more of weathering or a contrast, some kind of difference in colour would have been nice, but it serves its function very well. This one works as a display base, so I'm very pleased with that. Starting off with the head sculpt on this Velociraptor, I think it's a fairly impressive sculpt. I think there's a bit of a lack of detail in the head area. It could do with more defined scales. It has got some pitting going on to sort of loosely resemble scales. It's very accurate in terms of the skull of a Velociraptor. It's actually very slender and predatory like it would have been in real life. So for you guys who are interested in scientifically accurate dinosaurs, you've got something here that it's a bit more lifelike. You can see they've used this almost like a mustard yellow for the exposed scale areas of the Velociraptor, and I suppose they're trying to imitate a bird, but it does feel very sort of one colour, and it would have been nice to have had some variation of colour in the sort of scaly area. Very nicely painted and sculpted interior of the mouth. You can see we've got very carefully painted teeth and tongue, and the eye is actually very carefully painted as well. You can see it's got a black perimeter with almost like an orange bit around the outside, and then a cat's eye in the middle. As we move down the neck, you'll notice they've actually given it a little bit of flesh dangling from below its chin, which is very similar to a turkey. You can see we've got really nicely sculpted feathers going down the neck, a really nice big tuft of feathers coming off the back of the head there. And feathers are quite difficult to get right. They don't always look right on these figures, so it's nice to see that they've sculpted it quite well there. And as we join up with the body, you can see they've got smaller feathers going on, really nicely layered up all over the body. And then as we move down to the arm, you can see there's feathers hanging off of the elbow and going all the way along the forearms here. Very nicely sculpted and painted finger claws. Again, looking a little bit one colour. Would have been nice to have had some variation in this yellow. As we move into the leg, really nicely sculpted feathers going along the leg here. The musculature wouldn't be as defined on this because the feathers would create almost like a thicker coating around the outside, so it makes sense that we don't get clear definition of the muscles in this area. Then as we move down the leg, I love all these little spots going on intermingled with the brown. And then as we transition down into the foot, you can see we've got a nice little run of feathers going along the back of the leg there as well. Really nicely sculpted toe claws. You've got that really nice inner claw that's really famous on the Velociraptor, and that's really nicely sculpted and sort of posed there. Looking really, really cool. As we move back up to the tail, you can see again this feathering carries on. We've got a tail in a nice sort of predatory arc, almost like the way that a bird holds its feathers. Very, very cool, and I love these little stripes going along here at the very end. Really nice little striation sculpted in here on the underside, and that carries on into the leg where we've got some nice feathers carrying on here. Nice feathers coming off the back of the leg, again really nicely sculpted feet and toe claws. And then as we move across the torso, you can see lovely feathering going on again. Really nice splayed feathers under the forearm this side. You can see the hand on this side is quite relaxed, and on the opposite side here we've got a very splayed hand. So it's nice to have that contrast in pose. You can see if you look at the two sides, the feathers on this side are kind of missing black spots on the end, whereas on this side we've got a much more carefully painted set of feathers, and I'm assuming that's the way they really wanted them to look. As we move back up the neck, we join back up with that accurate head sculpt. So just how big is this guy? Let's bring out the tape measure. You're looking at about 6 inches long, which is about 16 centimeters. And in terms of the height up to the top of the tail, you're looking at about 5 inches, 5.5 inches, which is about 13-14 centimeters. Okay, scale comparison time. Let's bring in the favorite Spinosaurus, and I'm going to use hand support here because I actually can't get this guy to stand up on his base. But you can see the beautiful blue Spinosaurus, and we have reviewed this one on the channel. Link is in the description. You can see these two aren't fantastically to scale, but they do look nice next to each other on the shelf. Next, here's the favorite Triceratops, which doesn't require a base and therefore is awesome. Again, these two don't scale up that well. The Velociraptor would be much smaller than this, but I suppose you need to be able to see this amount of detail on the figure. Next, let's bring in the Jada Toys accurate Jeep Wrangler die-cast car. You can see the Velociraptor is massively out of scale, but I still love this little die-cast car, and any screen time is good screen time. And lastly, let's bring in our good friend Off-Color Alan to study the new scientific Velociraptor. Look at that. Thanks, Alan. There he goes. He's leaving the review table. So there we have it, guys. That was today's look at the favorite Velociraptor. I think this is actually a fantastic figure. From looking through the baggie, I didn't know what to expect. But actually, this is a very scientifically accurate dinosaur figure, and a lot of companies seem to miss the fact that dinosaur lovers would love to see more feathered and accurate dinosaurs like this one. It's very bird-like, it's got feathers all over its body, and it's really detailed. I think they've done a fantastic job, and probably the most amazing feature of this toy is the fact that it came with a non-warping feet base, which means that we actually get to see this thing standing on its presentation base. If you've got this far in the video, I want you to leave a comment down below stating what would you prefer, non-scientifically accurate dinosaurs like Jurassic Park, or would you prefer to have feathered dinosaur figures just like this one? I'd be really interested to hear your thoughts. In the meantime, guys, rate, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.